is amazing. I was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Water.
It's motorsport, but not as you know it. Test yourself and your everyday road car. Safe, affordable, but most of all, fun. And all you need is your daily driver. Experience the thrill of a sprint day. Race against the clock at a hill climb. Or test your reflexes with an auto test. It takes just 3 simple steps to get started. Get on the start line. Search Motorsport Australia Daily Driver today.
Fishies in a row. They're here to make a point and to do Eddie proud. They fan out in the background as they come down to turn 1 for the first time. It all looks pretty good, 2 by 2. We'll stop the camera here. Oh, Eddie would be proud, mate. That was awesome run around turn 1. But, oi! Contact with the fishies!
He's made it through. It doesn't look like Angus has made it, but Thomas Freeman's made it through, and Angus is going to suffer the crowd coming through there to be able to turn his car around.
I love riding. It's a real social thing. There's a great bond between riders.
Every weekend I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other.
Riding to work is a great way to start the day.
Shannons insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. They offer features riders really want. It's why they're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers.
Whatever you ride, whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride.
ride with Shannons.
Call 134646 for a quote.
And they are off. It was a good start from Dylan De Bono. I think Phil Vella got a great start there in the background as well. You can see already cars going 5, 6 wide as they're trying to find any semblance of space. They come into T1. So far we've got 2, 3 wide as they snake down. It's Michael Conchar that's got around Dylan De Bono. A couple of cars going wide there. Was that a bit of contact in the back? Scott Pocock caught up in that, I think, there, buddy. But it's Michael Cullajar's got past, so Dylan... light is coming out and we're about to get going, and we have a green light and a very slow start for the 86s, but they are moving out there on the grid. It would be very interesting to see exactly which driver can capitalise on this first lap. Just go through the grid. Look like Jamie Christensen had a really awesome start to get ahead of Dylan De Bono, and Doug Gowage also jumped his teammate as well, so unfortunately Dylan stalled the car a little bit more than what he preferred. But
Weekend in, weekend out, Motorsport Australia officials are making waves. From waving flags, waving cars through pit lane, or responding to a wave for help. Wave hello to new lifelong friends. Who knows, you might just make waves around the world. Ride the first wave. Search Motorsport Australia officials today.
Still great classes of car, and if you are able to, if you're coming up the ranks on iRacing through the licenses, it's a fantastic sort of laneway into prototype driving, going from that GT3 up through the prototype classes. As the safety car pulls in, we get ready to go green as we come up towards the line. Edwards, Hasler, who's going to get the jump down to turn 1, or will any of the fishies, any of the piranhas in behind them, assault them down towards
green and they're off.
First lap? Let's go here.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons.
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover,
Which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 134646 for a quote.
This is amazing. I was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you what, Bruce Tanek and Jamie Dyke just absolutely drove away from us. Hayden trying to go around the outside. This is where he could have just sent it up the inside, but he undercommitted, which is fair enough. It's very scary out there, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's see if we get a good run. Dodds just absolutely committed into it. Really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. No matter where you are watching from, welcome back to Sim Racing World TV. And welcome back to the Warren & Brown Tools IMSA Shadow Series here for round number 9 out of Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. I'm your commentator here tonight, Hamish Munro. Alongside me, back in the booth after a couple of weeks away, Stephanie Piccoli. Steph, great to have you back in the booth. Even though it is the final round, hopefully it's going to be a good night of racing for us here for the final round, of course. The championships are a little bit spread for the top of town for both Grotch and for Faulkner coming into this race, but there's a little bit of drama. Well, maybe there could be a little bit of a riser just to put a little challenge in just to cut down that gap.
Yeah, definitely great to be back here, Hamish. Look, I was having a look at the standings beforehand. It's definitely spread out a fair bit. It will definitely be interesting tonight. But between the guys, it's going to be an interesting race.
Yeah, I think Spa always offers up some good opportunities for sports car racing and for sports car racing fans to see some absolutely epic action out on track. And it also it's going to give us a nice little conclusion to the season. Obviously, you know, last time out at Sebring, well, that was kind of a little bit of a precursor to what was to come for the official 12-hour on the weekend. We didn't really get the numbers we thought we may have gotten, but we still had some good amount of drivers out there. But, you know, late now in the season, you know, it's all or nothing for some drivers, maybe to get onto a podium. Again, those championship battles, they're not really that conclusive. You know, they're pretty conclusive at this stage. You know, Brandon Grotch comes in with a fair lead over Ty Delaney back in P3. We know his teammates not likely going to battle him for this championship in Scott Hasler. So it's, you know, it's a little bit interesting how this could work out for us, but what it is going to do is, you know, it's just going to give us a nice idea of how the drivers are actually being able to attempt this circuit and how they're going to be able to get used to this circuit, as it's most likely going to be on the calendar again next season, because it's always somehow in the officials on iRacing.
Yeah, definitely. Having a look at those standings, it's 206 points between Grotch and Hasler. It's not a big difference. There definitely is a lot here that you know are on the line tonight for win, you know, for wins or potentially not. But always a great fun track to be at. No matter what car you're in, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's and it can be such a challenge as well, no matter if it's a sprint or if it's an endurance race. But like most tracks on this calendar, I think it does lend itself to that sort of endurance type of race. Being a 6.9k track, your cars can get spread out a little bit, but through endurance racing and through attrition, you can get, you know, those moments where drivers make mistakes and where they struggle to be able to keep themselves in line. I mean, I've only ever attempted one 24-hour round here and only completed 18 hours in the car, because we got to 4:30, crashed the car, and we're like, it's about the 5th time we've crashed this at this corner. Let's just go to bed, because it wrecks your mind a little bit.
It does.
After 18 hours and after you've crashed at the same corner 5 times. Thank you, Bon Chimon. But yeah, so it's going to be very interesting to see. So obviously we got, I think we got about 15 cars out there here tonight. So still a good amount of cars out there, of course. Not as much of an even spread between the classes. About 6 GTP cars, and then we've got about 8 GTD cars. So it's not going to be hell for leather for certain drivers' championship runs. We know that Faulkner and Grotch have come in with a big lead, leading this championship at the stage, so they're not likely going to lose it here tonight, because we know how clean they've been across the season. Interestingly enough, Ben Faulkner has actually used his one car change of the season to move from the Porsche to the Lamborghini off the back of its BOP upgrades from Sebring. So he's now changed over to the Lambo coming into this race. It'll be interesting to see how he does in that car. It does look very, very stable. I know that Sinker was mentioning last week how stable that car looked, the Porsche looked, through sort of the back end of the circuit. So it'll be interesting to see how the Lambo handle this track. When I last raced here, it was in a Lambo. It was not as stable back in that old BOP. But I think it's still going to give us a good run tonight. So open qualifying, of course, half an hour qualifying. First 15 minutes go to the GTDs. Second 15 minutes go to the GTP cars. And then we go racing for 45 minutes around Spa. Interestingly enough, using the Grand Prix pits here tonight instead of the endurance pits really cuts down how long these pits are.
Yeah, just say that then.
Throughout, and I've just realised that my radio is on in IRacing, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of a sneaky here for a second. So then,
guys, GT3's out first, followed by the GTP.
I'm just going to have to mute your end, Steph, so people can't hear it on the broadcast. So I'm just going to fix this up very, very quickly. That's what I get for spotting last night and then not muting it again. So I'll fix this. So 15 minutes of qualifying for the GTDs as per usual, and then 15 minutes for the GTPs as well. Obviously, Dyson's out there alongside Ryan Jones at the moment as they run around together in their DPR machines. It's kind of become the running joke that it is a nice Simrings livery, but not my preferred Simrings livery, since my team is also sponsored by Simrings as well. But Steph, have you been, obviously we haven't spoken in a couple of weeks, have you kind of, are you trying to get more into sports car racing now after a somewhat relatively strong run in GR86s this season, or are you kind of just sticking with those tin toppers and eventually going to move on to the GT realm, or maybe even moving towards the supercar instead?
Well, I'm in sort of two minds at the moment. I'm doing okay in the 86s. I'm definitely going to stick with those. I jump in the supercar occasionally. I think once you tame one of those beasts, you're doing okay, but it's just a matter of then, getting seat time for those. I had a crack at the Daytona 500 and actually really enjoyed it, so I'm kind of in two minds as well as to give Oval a crack as well.
Well, I know that we both know one person who's very versed to oval racing. One thing that I would also recommend as well is that I found was a nice change of pace was I actually started doing dirt road racing last year at one point. So I wasn't having very much luck on road, and I was just like, I just need something different. So I started doing dirt road, got into the Pro 2 lines, and then got into Pro 4s, and I tell you what, they are an absolute bag of fun. You can just throw them around, and you literally can just drift every single corner. They are so much fun. Which is why I want to try and sell it so hard to Singer to let us do a Pro 4 event, just a special event at one point during the break between seasons, just to give us something different to broadcast and just something different to have on screen.
100%. Yeah, look, that'd be epic if we could get one of those happening.
I just think it would, whether it's around Crandon or Wild Horse or wherever it is, even at Daytona at the Rallycross circuit, just to give us something different to broadcast again and give drivers an opportunity to drive something that they may have never driven before. And it's not necessarily something that is difficult to drive or difficult to tame. And hell, if Sinker drives it, he's spun that many times in other cars. Maybe that's the car for him because you can actually catch it in a slide being on dirt.
I don't know if that's a jab at Sinker or not.
That's a genuine prospect. Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe that would be his secret sauce.
Hey, that's it.
Maybe deep down, Sinker is a dirt racer.
Potentially, yeah. Definitely, he's got the skills to get around there. Most definitely.
Well, he goes off track enough times. He basically already is a dirt racer.
Yeah, that's true. He does go off track a bit.
Andrew Dyson at the moment, though, setting pace here in qualifying. He's currently on 3 purple sectors here out of the 5 around this circuit. So he's on for a nice opening lap here. Currently out on track, we've got Harry Dodds, Dyson, Clifton, Jones, and Benjamin Brook. Faulkner's not out there. Maybe he's playing the game of, well, he knows that he's won the championship. Maybe he's planning on starting from the back and making his night a little bit more interesting for himself. Doing a bit of a Darren Lobb in the supercars where he just starts with the pits and then makes his way forward. Also, Joshua Houghton not out there either. Well, we know they're in the session. Greg Johnson as well, also not on track at this stage. But Dyson's going to come around. He's going to cross the line, and it looks to be that he's going to set the pace early here in the GTD section of qualifying. We've already got a couple of chats out there. Harry Dodds saying wasn't planning on racing because of footy during the day. Well, glad that you're out there, Dodsy, having a crack. And then Sean Benici, we hope to see return next season into this series, saying let's go the Froggies in the chat as well. So it'd be good if we could get a couple more Froggies out there, a couple more tadpoles roaming around in the pond of IMSA Racing here on SRWtv.
Yeah, definitely. It's the more the merrier, I reckon. More cars on track, the better it is.
Oh, it would be. It would be absolutely phenomenal. Now, I know there have been talks of IMSA possibly going to a bi-weekly series that would then run across 2 seasons. You guys can let us know of your thoughts on that one as well. And if it were to happen like that, well, what would we fill the other week with? Well, the conversation at the moment is it's either going to be, well, obviously it's depending on sponsorships as well. The heavily rumoured Porsche Cup cars, there's talks of that going on a Friday, but I'm also trying to sell the Pilot Challenge that I've been trying to sell all season of LMP3s and GT4s. And again, if you run that, you can then say, well, on one Friday, we offer this to people who have not got much experience in these cars.
Yep.
You know, C and D class drivers can race in GT4s and LMP3s, and then your A and B class drivers can race the other Friday in the GT3s and the GTPs as well. And just to give them something special, you know, at least then, you know, you're offering the roadmap to drivers to get better in these cars. And the people who are experienced, well, they get to race with the best of the best on the other Friday as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's look, bi-weekly, I don't know how that'll go, but you always give it a crack. You know, you never know. Yeah, it might work in some people's favour that, you know, might not be able to make every week. Yeah, it may get more people show up if it's a bit more convenient for them too.
That's right, and well, there are other series that run bi-weekly, of course.
Yeah.
AOG Porsche Cup cars, and the later half of the year they run bi-weekly. They get some solid numbers as well. Scops don't run every week either, and they still get the numbers. Obviously, they are big series, but you know there is opportunities for bi-weekly series to work.
That's right.
I think you're stretching it when you do get to that sort of once a month mark as a person who ran a once a month series. Once people have got some penalties or they've had a poor race, well, they're not really, they either forget it's on because it's only once a month, or they're not bothered to keep racing across the whole year. It doesn't come in quick succession. So I think bi-weekly is pretty much like your real stretch, other than like, you know, the series and stuff like that. So. But Dyson's still on top of the leaderboard at the moment with a time of 2:18. Oops, 2:18. Let me double check. Yeah, 2:18.21. So he's a good 1.3 seconds ahead of Benjamin Brook. But Josh Houghton is out there who could challenge that time as well. Dodsey currently sits P3 at a 2:19.84. So about 3/10 off his teammate Brook here in P2 in the Fez.
Yeah, it's definitely first couple of laps. I don't think you're going to get too many laps around here, considering how long a lap is. So you sort of got to make every lap count. You know, you have your out lap. Preferably you take your out lap a bit slower, so you're not scrubbing your tyres. Make sure you get the heat and the pressure in them. But it's a fine line between doing that and then cutting yourself short with actual go laps. You want to ideally try and give yourself 2 go laps. You know, so because your first one you normally try and get a banker in, so at least you've got 1 lap in. And then your second one you just go for it and hope it comes out better. But with a track that's this long, it makes it a lot harder.
Well, I think, you know, seeing as they've got 15 minutes with 7-minute lap times, 2-minute lap times, sorry, they're getting about 7 laps in, right?
Yeah.
And if they're still out on track by that 14th minute, then they can get 1 more lap in because they're not cut off by the 15 minutes. It just means they must finish the lap that they are on. So if you can, relatively speaking, get 7 or 8 laps in, right, you can claim, well, 3 of them are your cooldowns or your warm-up laps. So your first lap obviously is an out lap. Then you can go for 2 push laps, then 1 cooldown, then 2 more pushes, and then you've got another cooldown to come back in. It can work out that way, of course, but if you're willing to go for 8, well, that 7th lap as your cooldown could be the run on to having the big push lap on the final run, as long as you get across the line before the 15 minutes is up. So it's still going to offer opportunities for drivers to be able to do that, get their laps in, obviously. with only 8 drivers in the session for the GTDs, well, qualifying necessarily may not matter too much compared to when we've had 15 drivers in the class, which we see normally early on in the season. And obviously, the longer this championship goes on throughout the year, we will likely see more drivers remain in the series for the whole run. Because, you know, they may not miss as many rounds, or again, if it goes to bi-weekly, then they may not miss as many rounds as well. Going back to bi-weekly, it's going to give drivers 2 weeks to practice for a race instead of just 1. So we may see the racing's actually a lot closer because drivers are able to work on a setup for longer, or they're also able to get more comfortable on the track as well.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, having a smaller grid, it can work in your favour, but which I think, you know, it's not bad. But, you know, you always try and get out there and make the most of it, and you always want to give it a good red hot crack.
Well, that's right. I was speaking to Greg Johnson prior to the race. He said, oh, you might be able to get top 5 here tonight, John. I was like, oh, maybe. But he was struggling with the mid-engine syndrome of the Audi, which the Lambos had previous problems in the car as well, where came around Blanchimont and the rear end just went on him and he went into the wall. So that's one thing we need to watch tonight. Obviously, setups are going to be crucial. I don't know. I just said to him, well, you're not getting the bite in the front end. Let's just you know, add one more bit of wing on the back and just see how you go. I haven't seen him hit the wall again since he's done that, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Mark Cock in the chat saying good evening. Mark, why are you not out on track? We love having our teacher out on track. Maybe he's too busy celebrating after his championship win on Wednesday.
Oh, maybe he's had too many. I'm not sure. All I know is he's not racing tonight, and I was like, how am I going to do plugs now? how are we going to show you off? Yeah, how are we going to show off the champion? But yeah, no, it's a shame he's not out there tonight. He goes pretty well around Spa. So it's a bit of a bugger he's not out there at the minute. I was speaking with Mick Clifton earlier, who going back to your chat with setups. He said he was having a bit of issues with trying to lock in a setup as well and trying to find one that works around here. So
I'm a little bit disappointed because I came to the realization the other day in Vets that Mick actually races for Accelerate Sim Racing. Yes. And their supercar livery is absolutely gorgeous. Nice orange, red, black livery. Real simple, but really beautiful. But they haven't got it on the GT car. And I'm like, why? That orange would look so good on this Fez.
It would look amazing.
It would be beautiful. It would arguably be the best livery on the grid. Like, it would just suit this car so well. Mark's asking what was on the dinner menu, Steph. So what was on your dinner menu for tonight?
Dinner menu. Couldn't go past a Chubby Buns burger tonight.
Oh, do you live close enough to Chubby Buns, do you?
I do. I got one about 8 minutes up the road, if that. So.
Oh, bloody New South Welshman getting the exclusives.
Oh, that's it. Can't go past them.
Well, big shout out to Mr. Caparonis, who who I believe he either owns Chubby Buns or he has a franchise.
He does, yes. Chatting with him one night, and yeah, he definitely does have a franchise, a store or two, so it goes well.
I do know that he was looking at expanding into the Victorian area, and I said, well, if you do that, definitely coming for the opening. So you better get us those special little Vets upgrades for us. But yeah, so big shout out to him, and shout out to Old Main Sons as well. Good bunch of guys and girls out of that race team as well.
That's it.
As Chubby Buns is one of their main sponsors as well. So Ryan Jones yet to set a time here in qualifying just yet, but Andrew Dyson, his teammate, still sits top of the timing tower at this stage with that 2:18.21. He's only done the 1 lap though here in qualifying, at least one that's actually counted. So he'll just be trying to consolidate his position. I think it's going to be pretty tough. Without Faulkner cutting laps at the moment, it's going to be pretty tough for anyone to match that time at this stage.
Yeah, I think it definitely will be now. It's clear by a full second there.
Oh, but that there is going to be an end to his qualifying run, 14.5 minutes into the session. So that'll be it for Mr. Dyson. So get out and challenge him now. Currently sits P2. Jono, though, he's on 3 greens and an orange, so this could be a nice lap from him as he comes up into the final couple of corners here. So he must have gotten it stable through. He's either gotten it more stable through Blanchimont, or he's a lot more hesitant now after his spin. He comes up across the line. The time for him that's not going to count. So he must have had an off track.
Yeah, I had one a bit earlier.
That's okay.
Earlier along the way there. Bugger.
So 15 minutes is up. That means that if they're on a lap, they can finish their lap. If they are not, they must come into the lane. So I believe Ryan Jones crossed the line before the 15 minutes was up, so this will be his final run. Jono was very close, so we'll see if he does a push lap this time by. But GTP is starting to come out on track, including Ty Delaney, Scott Hasler, and Brendan Groch, the current top 3 in the championship. Groch has a almost insurmountable lead, and only has to show up tonight to really win this championship. He's currently got a 200-point gap over his teammate, and then Ty has a further 221 points back off of Hasler. So they just had to show up really and consolidate their championship 1-2. But you know, who knows if actually no, they can't lose it now. They literally just have to start the race, and then they've got it.
Pretty much.
So
yeah,
it'll be a little bit of a swan song for them. You know, it'll be a nice little run around the track, put your hand up, wait to get the trophy in hand, and then, you know, see you later on to season 2. A couple more chats. Mark Cocker saying there aren't many in the GTD class tonight. Well, actually, Mark, there are, but not all of them actually were able to get a time in qualifying. So there's about 7 or 8 GTDs, and then there's 1, 2,
6 GTPs.
Yes. There's 6 GTPs. So we've got about 14 drivers out there. DK iRacing say, good evening, Hamish, Steph, and chat. No Mark to cheer on, so let's go Mick Clifton, while the Accelerate Sim Racing driver managed to get himself P5 in qualifying with a 2-minute 20.2. So he's a little bit off the pace, but he's not too far away. And, you know, if he can keep it clean, well, he can only gain if the other guys have a problem. Ashton Reasons chat as well, saying, well, if it isn't the return of the Bing. Hello, Bing. It's great to have you in the chat. Jack was in there as well, saying, where is King Crumb? That's a question for Crummy. I was expecting him out on track, but he's not out there tonight. So, very disappointed in Crummy's efforts to not be out there with us and having a crack. Ryan Jones does get the time, and he goes P3 for the GTDs. That'll be an end to his qualifying, but he will start second row of the grid here tonight. And Jono got a lap in as well, so he finishes P7 at the end of the day. But again, he's just planning on having a nice, clean run here tonight as the GTPs begin their run here in qualifying and start their first lap.
Yeah, goodness. It was lucky he got that last lap in there. 8 tenths off the lead is not a bad effort.
To be fair to Johnston, if he didn't get the lap, he would have started in P7. So he's just confirming P7 there, but Ryan getting up to P3, that's a good run from him, and it means that he'll be a bit further up the grid than championship leader Ben Faulkner will be. So they can have a bit of fun with Josh up the road until Ben possibly eventually catches them. But that will be up to his discretion on track, whether he does race here tonight. He needs to race to confirm the championship. If he does not race, then it will go to whoever P2 is in the championship at this point in time. But Brendan Groch is currently on for the fastest lap at the moment with a purple in the first sector. So he is absolutely flying in the Acura, as he's been doing all season.
Yeah, that car seems to be pretty good no matter what track it's at, the Acura. It's always around the front running. Seems to be a bit of a popular pick.
It's the
amongst the
V-Power,
guys here as
it
well.
It's the V-Power.
Yeah, it looks like it. It's definitely one of the most popular cars out there at the minute.
Well, it's a good looking car, to be fair to it. It'll be interesting when the Lambo comes into iRacing, where that stands, obviously. It only just made its debut in IMSA out at Sebring, so it'll be interesting to see where it kind of lines up. Glasspool, though, has actually gone faster than Groch has in the second sector, so maybe there's a challenger at the top of the ranks here tonight. Zach Rattray in the chat saying, Benny Falke, EVW, it's back in the chat again. lost his band somehow. I don't know how. But great to have you out there, Zach. I hope you're enjoying the show anyway, mate. But yeah, Mr. Glasspool, he's not on purples at this stage. Hasler goes P1 though with a 2-minute dead there, 2-minute 0.73. But Groch will likely pip that here as he crosses the line with a 1:59.6. So good run home there from Mr. Groch on his first run in qualifying. What can Glasspool do there when he crosses the line? Is he going to go P2 or will he go P3 in behind Hasler? Can he separate those froggies? He goes P1 with a 159.4. Well,
Wow.
well. All of a sudden, there is a challenger to Brandon Grotch, although, again, Grotch doesn't need the win here tonight. Glasspool will be out there to maybe steal a win off him in the end, but Frame also goes P4, and then young Guppy Ty Delaney just trying to get a lap into this stage, as well as Bruce Wayne, a.k.a. Shane Newens, in his Batmobile trying to get a lap in as well.
I think, yeah, especially with the GTPs, you're going to want to get a lap in, so you're not caught in the GTD at the back and then trying to get your way through. So qualifying for these guys is important.
Phil Vella in the chat saying Dadalac for the win. Well, Vella, when are we going to see you and the old chatty out on track, mate? Hopefully you race for this next season. We're good to see you spread your wings, and you know we know you're a 3-time champion in the F3. Well, now that that's gone and we're going to the SF24, maybe it's time for you to upgrade to the old Cadillac and come racing with us on Friday nights.
Tempting.
Sure, yeah, see? Yeah, do it, Phil. Just for the Cadillac. You know, it doesn't... I want to see that DPR out there, the DPR Cadillac. That's what we want. We want your one out on track, not just the old Batmobile or the old Fishy Mobile here, the old fish tank of Ty Delaney. So it's a shame that we haven't got the likes of Michael Whiting and Sean McGuire and Adam Simpson out there alongside Ty. Obviously, they must have gone away for the weekend, where the Delaney's maybe are just staying home.
There's definitely potential there. It is a long weekend, so...
Although I wouldn't put it past Blake to go away for the weekend but take his rig with him.
It's tempting, I tell you what, it's tempting when you go away to take it all with you.
Yeah, just have it on your carry-on on the plane. You know? Oh, we're going to Perth? Well, better pack the rig. You know? Oh, we're going overseas to the US? Oh, just take the rig. You know?
Let's pay for extra check-in baggage, should be right.
Oh, just
put fragile stickers all over it.
That's it. You just take a trolley with a big cardboard box that the rig's in. Oh no, but Ty Delaney's gone off.
Oh no, he's gone.
That looked like almost a steering failure.
Yeah.
What's he done?
Like he's moving back out again now, but...
Well, his wheel was off, so he ran it wide here. That was weird.
Yeah, that's just sort of went exit stage left.
Yeah, like he's come round, hooked it up on the outside. Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's because he had the off track. He's like, oh, just, you know, come back and go again. Yeah, so he ditched it, yeah. Well, he's back out there. And ready to have another crack, but it is currently James Glasspool P1 for DPR. It's currently 2 DPR cars front of the grid for both the GTDs and the GTP class. See if they can get the double pole position here tonight. I don't think we've had a double pole position for a team this season, because I don't think Dodsey or Brooks had one for Froggies, and there's no Vermilion cars in the GTP class, so I don't know. I'll have to check the stats on that one.
Could be on for it for tonight, though.
Oh, definitely could be. Well, I mean, with the pace of James, and as we say that, he just loses the rear end on his Porsche and puts it into the wall. Not going to be an end to his qualifying run, though. He's still got about 6 minutes to get another lap in if he wants to, and he's coming back out on track. But all eyes are now on Brandon Grotch and whether he can find the pace that he needs out of the Frog Leap Juice Racing Acura GTP car and get another pole position here tonight, or if maybe his teammate Scott Hasler can rise up and get ahead of James into P1 as well. Frames also set a time with a 2-minute .9. Young Delaney, though, and Newens yet to set their own pace out in qualifying just yet.
Yeah, just looking at those splits, it's definitely going to be a bit interesting between the GTPs there.
So DK saying off track and then kamikaze. Well, the only thing, I mean, it did appear that way. My mindset is, well, he wasn't too far from the end of the lap. Why not just keep going and then go again? Like, now you've got to do a whole other out lap. You know, you got to tow back, do a whole other out lap, and then have another go again. Car wasn't damaged from the off track. He could have just kept going, but you know, maybe we all think different things. Maybe he just, I don't know, maybe Ty's struggling a little bit of headspace here tonight. Who knows? But he is still out there and he is still having a crack here in qualifying. So hopefully he can find the pace that he needs, or at least the cleanliness across the lap. Compulsory pit stops tonight. Well, there is normally always one.
Yeah.
Because, well, not really compulsory, but the fuel is limited, so there is only one, or there's at least one stop. So, you know, I doubt anyone's going to be able to save enough fuel around here to not have any pit stops in that 45 minutes. You know, the fuel is forced that you need one, unless you get a heap of safety cars. Then you know you are in safe territory of going to no stop. But I don't know if we're going to get a heap of safety cars here tonight with such a small field.
I don't think we will, and it's such a spread out track, sort of, or a long track that, you know, once you sort of spread out a little bit, it's, look, it's going to have to be one of the front runners, I think, within the first lap to mess up quite epically to get a safety car here tonight, I think.
Well, unless there is, like, an absolute pile-up, or someone has a crash on the straight, and then, you know, they're blocking part of the track. Now, this is the start-finish line straight I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If they have an incident there, then, well, you could argue, yes, we need to have a safety car because they're blocking the track. But, I don't know. I don't know if they will or not. It'll be interesting to see. We haven't really had many safety cars in the last couple of weeks, especially in this series as well. Patrick Frame, though, goes P3. He's actually managed to pip Scott Hasler. So maybe the Froggies are just struggling a little bit tonight, or maybe they're just on cruise control knowing that they just have to finish the race.
I would, personally, if I was in their position, I'd just be cruising. You know, just to make sure you finish the race and bag those points just to make sure your championship is secured. I think I've just seen Mark Cochran join the session. I'm not sure if he's going to be racing or not.
Well, he is in the session, so maybe we inspired him to come racing.
Just seen him in sitting there in pit lane. He's
well, he can't qualify
forged,
now, so
no,
he can't qualify because the
late join.
Yeah, but he's gotten in before the end of qualifying, so he can still race. Glasspool, though, is on a mega run so far. 2 purple sectors. This could be an absolute blinder of a lap as he comes up towards Blanchimont. So he may be just throwing salt on the wounds of Grotch at the moment, who's struggling to find the pace that he needs to get up onto Glasspool's. Time goes green in the 4th. Comes through the final couple of corners now to end out the lap. This is going to be a mega run here from the DPR driver in the Porsche. Will cross the line. What's it going to be? Is it going to be a 58? Oh, it's close.
59.1.
Oh, 0.46 of a second is now the gap back to Brandon Grotch's lap time here in P2. Glasspool's going to be able to have another run. He is close enough. Well, he was close enough to the end of the 30 minutes to get one in. But Grotch, is he going to be able to go any better? Mark saying, change my mind, I want to beat Mick. Well, very good. Glad you're out there having a crack.
Good, healthy rivalry there.
Oh, exactly.
Between Mark and Mick Clifton. It's good.
It's the battle of the MCs.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the true rivalry on track. Ty Delaney finally gets a time in, goes P5 with a 2-minute .43. So, but Hasler's now actually gone P3, so he's seen Patrick Frame set his time, and he's like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and beat you and go 2-minute dead. So he's now sits P3 once again. So only a minute left in qualifying now. Only 3 cars left out on track. They are our top 3, James Glasspool, Brandon Grotch, and Scott Hasler. We will see if any of them can pick the DPR driver out of P1 at the moment, although he's not on for a better lap at this stage. DK IRacing saying, woohoo, Mark, go Team Apex, bully Mick. Are you guys just trying to bully him until he joins Apex?
Look, we're all pretty good mates. We've all sort of raced together for the last 3-4 years maybe. So yeah, it's all a bit of friendly banter. Yeah, Mick was always going to accelerate sim racing. There was no question about that. So it's a bit of an Apex versus Accelerate.
But you guys get like Visma and Houghton in that battle as well, or is it just Mick flying the flag
Mick.
solo? Oh, yeah.
Just Mick, yeah. Only Mick, unfortunately. He cops the wrath of it, but you know he does good. He's definitely a top bloke. DKI racing there. It definitely is a top bloke. He's always up for a good laugh.
So final lap now on offer from Scott Hasler. Qualifying will now come to an end. So you'd have to argue if his sectors are no better, then this lap will likely not complete for him as he comes through sort of the upper part of the forest and just tries to see if he can do any better to get onto the second or the first row of the grid. Although starting from P3 out of 6 cars, not too bad. You know, that's you know, you may not lose too much out of that.
No, definitely not. It's I think, you know, with it as it is, it's still alright. It's, you know, this close to the end of the season, you know, being last round, you sort of just want to try and bag those points and bring it home.
Well, that's exactly right.
It looks like it's fairly sort of cemented at the minute. I don't think there's going to be too much movement.
Well, there's not enough cars in class for them to drop enough points. You know, as soon as the green flag goes and they start, well, that's it. They won it. Because they can't. Once you start the race, you're technically classified. So unless they were to bag 200 points worth of points, worth of penalty, sorry. I don't think they're really going to be challenged at this stage.
I don't think so, no.
Well, if they somehow got 200 points worth of penalties, then I think you're looking at ban-worthy. Like,
oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I think it could be, you know, between Delaney and Simpson, there could be a bit of a change between those two guys. We've only been
Simpson's not out there though as well, and Delaney's already P3.
Oh, that's true.
So
yeah, so there'd be movement between them, but other than that, it's pretty. I would think the top 3 are pretty set.
Well, if we look at the standings at the moment, so Newens is 8 points off the back of Michael Whiting. If Newens finishes, he's going to get into the top 10 of the championship. Now, wherever he gets to, I'm not sure. And then, who else is out there?
There's no Gowans tonight either.
There's no Gowans. There's no Crummy. There's no Davis. Either of them. Neither of the Davises are out there. No Mez. No Maguire. No King. No Anderson either. Patrick Frame, he could also move up there. Actually, the battle's between Frame and Newens at the moment for that P12, but even getting into the top 10. Because Frame's only 15 points off the back of Newens at the moment. So they're having a little bit of a battle. And then obviously for the GTD cars, well, Faulkner's 332 points ahead of Andrew Dyson. So he just needs to start the race, and then that's it. He's gotten it.
Just cross the line. Yeah, definitely.
Well, pretty much. Well, again, he's not going to drop enough points.
No,
because the amount of positions. Even if he comes last, that'll be it. I see your message. I can share my screen. That's all good. But we are going to get into, though, a little bit of a warm-up session in just a second.
That's it.
Actually, no, we're gridding up, so we're going to go racing.
We are gridding up.
Here's our starting grid for tonight's race. You are going to see a name on there that shouldn't be there. That's myself, because I accidentally joined as and registered instead of joining as a watcher for once in my life. Made the one mistake, and of course it was in the final round. But James Glasspool will start P1 ahead of Brandon Grotch here tonight. With Scotty Hasler out of P3, and Patrick Frame makes up the second row of the grid. It'll be Ty Delaney and Shane Newens on the third row of the grid. We then get into our GTD drivers with Andrew Dyson and Josh Houghton making up the front row, with Ryan Jones and Benjamin Brook in behind. Harry Dodds will start alongside Mick Clifton, with Greg Johnson, Ben Faulkner and Mark Cochran making up the grid. Big thank you to our race controllers here tonight as well. I believe Tyson McAvoy and Thomas Freeman are down there. Yes, they are. So big thank you to those guys. Big shout out to Mr. Leak as well. We hope to see you back out on track soon. Greggy, hope everything's going well for you, mate. And our thoughts are with you as well. So hopefully we can get Mr. Leak back out there. We definitely don't want your biggest achievement in SRW to be that you blew the engine of the safety car at Bathurst. We want to see you get a win or something like that.
That's it.
So that's what we want. But DK saying we aren't quick enough to keep up with the other XXR team, the aliens. I'd argue only Visma's an alien in that team. I've seen Mark get beaten in vets. I think. Oh well, I mean, I think Rusty may have actually finished ahead of him at Laguna.
He has.
Last week.
Yes.
Although he didn't race this week, and I did message Rusty, but he's happy just doing his own thing at the moment, which is all good.
Oh, he's got some PC issues, unfortunately.
Okay.
He's he's had a bit of an unlucky trot at the moment with this PC that he's got.
Well, if Rusty's watching,
it's in the shop. It's getting sorted.
I was going to say, if Rusty's watching, just to go back on the offer that I put forward to him, my team, we actually have our own PC guy. One of our drivers actually builds PCs, so if that were to entice him any further, then that is an option. But GTPs have now pulled away. The safety cars pulled massively away from them. There's only 6 of them out on track, as mentioned. There is now 9 GTD cars. Faulkner, as mentioned, is not qualified, but again, he's probably just wanted to make the night a little bit more fun for him, knowing that he just has to finish to try and make his way through the field. And then Cochrane's out there hoping to get up onto the back of Mick Clifton, but we come around the final corner. GTPs are now going to get going here onto the start of this race. Glasspool has gone so much earlier than the rest of the field, kind of caught them out a little bit, but he's now gone already, and then it's Grotch back in P2 with Frame up the P3 past Hasler, so he actually caught Hasler out a little bit as well. And Delaney on the back with Newlands too as they come up towards Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time. And up towards the Kemmel Straight. That's a massive gap for Glasspool already. He's put the jets on at this stage, and Grotch has just settled in at this point in time. The GTDs have now started this race as well. Daiso's gotten a good start. Faulkner though ran wide in the rear end. He now comes out in a big 4-way battle up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Oh, they're going to go 4 wide up here. They're going to be sensible and just line it up. They're going to be sensible and just line it up. And look at this. Cochrane's already got Clifton here. It's not even yet.
Push him out of the way. Push him out of the way.
Oh, what a run. But Mark Cochrane off the back of no practice, already up into P13 on the road. Faulkner's now going to hope to try and get past him here as they come down the end of the Kemmel Straight into the chicane for the first time. Harry Dodd's having some problems already. He's dropping back a couple of spots. So again, even though they're not racing for sheep stations here tonight necessarily, you know, it's not. They're still racing hell for leather. Like the race is on, but you know it's bragging rights at this point in time. So it's going to be a nice little view to come back on to see these little battles. Look at this, Cochrane getting the elbows out. I reckon he has had a couple of celebratory drink. Dodds is gone though in the background of the rejoin into the front of Clifton.
Oh no, could that be the safety car we were talking about earlier?
I reckon that might be. That rear wheel is hanging off that Merc of Harry Dodds.
Oh no.
This is what's happened on board now with Mick Clifton. He's come around, there goes Doddsy. And
nowhere
on track,
to go.
Bang, into the side of him.
Nowhere to go.
No, nowhere to go, unfortunately. And both of them are now parked up. That will almost surely be a safety car.
Safety car,
as the leader has crossed the line now to start lap number 2. But do not be surprised if we see the safety car out there. Harry Dodds has now towed back, and so has Mick Clifton. So no safety car off the back of that one. A little bit disappointed that we got no safety car off it.
No.
Just to tighten them back up just slightly.
Would probably be about a 4.5 minute lap, I would think, under a safety car. So I think they're probably going to try and make it as green running as they can.
Yeah, I would say so. I do not like that I'm on that. I'm about to fix that because that's going to give me a heap of annoyances if I don't change this. I had to make the mistake and just click the wrong thing here tonight. There we go, that fixes it.
DK iRacing in the chat.
Oh.
I can hear Mick swearing from Melbourne.
Oh, mate, I can hear him. Oh, can't we all? But Doddsy and Clifton now in the lane, man. That might be race over for them. Glasspool, though's got a hell of a lead over Grotch at this stage in time, but it's Dyson who leads the way for the GTDs. Faulkner's already up into P5 in class, trying to go up the inside of Brook, but he's not willing to give up anything at this point as they come through. And Faulkner gets in front of Mr. Brook. As we continue on through. So it's a shame that both those guys are likely out of this race now, but
Definitely, yeah.
it's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So now Cochrane makes up the back of the GTD field to Greg Johnson, Benjamin Brook, Ben Faulkner, Ryan Jones, Josh Houghton, P2, and is chasing down a charging Andrew Dyson in P1. We then got Shane Newens at the back end of the GTP field with Scotty Hasler up ahead of him, so he's actually dropped quite a few spots as well. Off this race start, so he's just struggling around this Spa circuit. Tidal Andy's up into P4, Patrick Frame in P3, Brandon Grotch on a nice Good Friday drive, and then James Glasspool leads the way at this stage in time. So, and a big happy Good Friday to everyone out there as well. Happy Easter to everyone. Hope you guys are enjoying your Easter wherever you might be celebrating it as well. Whether it is for just religious purposes or just the love of chocolate, we hope that you're having a great weekend and a safe weekend as well.
Most definitely. It's definitely a time to sort of have a chill out and, you know, have a recoup sort of, you know, 3 months into the year. It's to recharge the batteries over the long weekend as well.
So I reckon that maybe there should have been some thoughts of, oh, when does Easter fall? Oh, it's the start of April. Well, maybe we should have run the final round the week after Easter, but it's all good nonetheless. We've still got some good racing happening out on track. And again, it's likely just going to be similar to Nürburgring, where we check out the battles, chat about racing a little bit. Again, a little bit more of that podcast style of broadcast that comes off us sometimes. So
yeah.
So yeah,
Good little three-way battle going on here at the moment.
Yeah, it's good to see. Good to see that, you know, Frames there that we know. I know he struggled a little bit this season with some consistency and cleanliness, but it's good to see him racing wheel to wheel here with the young Guppy and with Hasler as well, as they now get past him around Blanchimont, and we'll start lap number 5 here tonight, 6 minutes into the 45. So it's good to see though that we are still getting some good battles. Hopefully the field doesn't spread out too much though, as Newens loses it in the background. So he's now going to drop off a little bit further behind this little battle pack, but maybe through some battling he can now catch back up to them. But with a 5.9 second gap, he's really going to have to push hard here throughout this race just to get up back onto the back of them. But as Hasler leads them up through Eau Rouge and through that on the top of the hill.
You fall out of that slipstream around here, it's quite detrimental, unfortunately.
Well, not especially up here down the Kemmel Straight. You've really got to be able to carry that speed, and it is a wild ride up the hill at, you know, obviously the bottom at Eau Rouge and then up into Radillon at the top of the hill. But if you carry the speed and get in that slipstream down the Kemmel Straight, well, it's going to keep you in the battle for a lot longer, where if you break that toe, well, you just, it's a little bit like Lamore, you're going to be left for nothing. Right?
Yeah,
definitely. They're giving us a good little bit of on-track action at this stage in time anyway. So I know, Steph, you were talking about maybe thinking about getting into the supercars next season. Is it possible we're going to see some more Apex drivers in maybe the Tuesday night Pro-Am and Amateur series here in SRW?
Yeah, look, I'll probably only be able to make sort of every second week because of other commitments and whatnot. But look, I'll definitely try and give it a red hot crack and try and get on the grid, that's for sure.
Well, I think, you know, even just to race, even if it's only every 2 weeks, well, it's going to be good experience, and going forward, maybe after next season or in seasons future, maybe in the position you can make every week, and all of a sudden you've got a season or 2 seasons worth, or half a season really, of experience under your belt, and you're not coming in cold turkey.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Look, I have seen a little bit of the AMs supercars, and look, I would be at the back of the grid. There is no question.
I don't know.
But yeah, I'm not the best in those. But I'm at the back. I'm sort of mid to back pack of the AMs and the 86s. I'm better in those than I am a supercar. So definitely need to pull my finger out if I want to jump in there and give it a crack. So just got to try and fit in some more seat time.
Well, what I would say is obviously there's two road maps you can kind of go down out of 86s.
Yeah.
One of them obviously is sports cars. The other one is touring cars. If you're going to go in the direction of supercars, well, if we get the Carrera Cup up and running, I would say go to the Porsche Cup. Learn the Porsche Cup car. That'll give you some skills that are very relevant to driving the supercar at maximum pace. So, you know, if you're going to go down the supercar route, get into the Cup car, have a crack in that, run maybe a season or two in that, get used to it, get comfortable. You know, obviously continue doing the 86s because, again, the road map, some drivers kind of, they get into they look at the fast car and I'm going to drive that. Well, you need to remember, the road map is there in real life because the lower class cars, they may be slower, but they give you the ability to learn skills that you can only learn in those cars. So then you're not having to learn 5 things at once in another.
Yeah, exactly. It helps you with racecraft as well.
Exactly, and like you come into the GTP, you're having to learn how to control the car because it is so quick. You're having to learn to deal with the ground effects of this car. You're having to learn how to deal with emitting the hybrid. Because realistically, to be competitive, you've got to be able to do manual hybrid. Auto's not really going to be beneficial. You're also going to have to learn how to get through traffic of the slower class of cars, and then also how to battle with drivers around you at such a fast pace.
Yeah,
for someone coming in cold turkey into this car, that's a lot to learn. And to
yeah,
wrap your head around.
I learned that the hard way at what was it? Watkins Glen Enduro. Teamed up at the time, one of my teammates, Ricky Hyde, and we actually ended up taking it out. So it was the first time I'd ever driven one of those cars. We did about 3 or 4 weeks of prep beforehand, as you do. You know, you get you set up, cut your laps, lap after lap after lap to get comfortable. And yeah, we ended up actually taking it out. So that was sort of my first time in one of these GTPs, and I actually really enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, there's so many variety of cars and, you know, different pathways to go, but it's just so hard to choose one.
No, that's right. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, to be competitive in certain race cars or in certain types of class of cars, you've really got to put all your eggs in one basket and focus on that type of car. Once you're fast in it, then you can go and race different types of cars. I know 100%. I spoke with JP about this back in Hockenheim, that you can, you know, you pick which roadmap you want to go down. Once you're at the top level and once you're competitive, that's then when you focus on, hey, I want to go race supercars. All right, let's go into the Porsche Cup car. I've raced Porsches before. In the GT category, it won't be as much of a swap over. Obviously, you're dealing with no traction control and stuff like that in the Cup car.
Yeah.
That then teaches you how to drive a car without traction control in its in-top format, and then you move up into the supercar. You know, so it's knowing which of these pathways you want to go down. Of course, if you're good in the GTP, as they get up onto the back of Mark Cochran, but he's lost it out of Blanchimont. Was there contact, though, with the GTP car in behind of Ty Delaney? As they come through Blanchimont, Cochran holding his... No, he's just lost it on the curb.
Yeah. Might have had a bit of aero wash as well. Those GTPs do give out a fair bit if you're behind them.
So I would expect, I think Mark's actually stayed on track. He hasn't come in, so there mustn't be too much damage to that car. Glasspool has now lost the lead of the race because he's been through the pit lane. He entered pit lane and then left pit lane, so he must have had a drive-through, maybe for jumping the start. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But I have actually seen he's had an off-track, so what's he had an off-track for? So it's coming up into turn 1. Oh no, it's just he just ran wide. So, but yeah, I reckon maybe he got a drive-through penalty for some reason.
Potentially,
came through,
yeah.
And he came into the pits. Like, there's no denying that he came into the lane. but he's just driven straight. Oh, that's cool. I didn't actually realise the Porsche changes its headlights to red when it comes in the pits.
That's pretty cool.
That was pretty sick, actually.
That was cool.
That was pretty sick. Unless it was just the
before.
reflectors off the line, maybe off the board. Maybe it was just the reflectors. I don't know, but that looked pretty cool. But yeah, it was literally just a drive-through, so he must have copped a penalty for something. Not
Possibly a
100%
jump
sure
start,
why.
maybe. He did get the big jump, so it is potential.
Quite possibly. So, but yeah, finding those pathways is only going to do you a benefit, obviously. And having that support around you of drivers who know how to drive certain cars. Mark Cochran, though, maybe not the best person to teach you how to race in a GT car, as he's gone off track once again. Maybe he needs a teacher, ironically. Oh, it's big wash.
Yeah.
We just lost the rear end.
Oh, he kept it off the wall, which is the main thing.
Very lucky.
It's very close. Did a good job there to keep it off the wall.
Someone who hasn't kept it off the wall is Ryan Jones. He's come off down.
Hard in.
Oh, it's a Blanchimont as well. Was there contact then with Faulkner?
Might have been helped a little bit there. Bit of a tag, potentially.
Let's have a look here. So if we click on Mr. Jones and go to his gearbox cam, is there contact when they come off track? That looks like it.
Yeah.
That looks like there's been contact there.
Yeah. When you're going through there, cars on, you're coming off the corner exit, cars unloaded, any sort of little tap, a love tap, a big hit, anything little is going to have
he
big
missed
effect.
his box as well, so he had to pull it back in the lane. So unfortunate there for Mr. Jones. But the questions will now lie on Ben Faulkner, whether he will get a penalty for the contact or not. I don't know how much is in it. He has driven straight through him, but whether he was brake checked or something like that, I'm not 100% sure.
We'll leave that up to the race control.
All up to race control at the end of the day. So hopefully we can continue having a nice clean running tonight. But Andrew Dyson leads the way. He's got his teammate James Glasspool up ahead of him, who's now also lost a spot to Scotty Hasler in the GTP class. So maybe the traffic's held him up a little bit. Who knows? Maybe Scotty just had the run down the straight, was managed to get past him. But all of a sudden, it is on hell for leather here for James to battle it out with the Froggies for the top two spots. With Brandon Grotch up the road as they come past your old mate, Nicholas here in P9. So good to see him back out on track. Dodsy's back out there too. So I reckon they were just waiting for the tow. That was why they were in the lane for so long, because it can be quite a long tow around here depending where you are on track.
Yeah, it's possible. I think, they've got that go-get attitude where, they're, after one little incident, they're not just going to pack up throw the toys out of the cot and pack up the sim and go home. But, it's definitely potential. They were sort of waiting to try and catch up to each other there.
Quite possible. They have got the leader of the class coming up on the back of them, that being Andrew Dyson. And once he catches up to Nick will go a lap down. Same with Dodsey, who's a little bit further up coming onto the Kemmel Straight. So, young old Dodsey, been having some good battles with Mr. Ty Delaney, who's just come past him in the Sunday Supercars Series. Ty currently sits P2 in that championship, so he'll be hoping for a strong run Sunday night and for Mr. Lobb to have a poor one so he can put a challenge in for that title in the pro class. But you're up to him. Unfortunately, lessons have not been learned from Mark Cochran because he's had another incident. It's out at Blanchimont.
Oh, no.
And it's a wild run. Oh, that is almost picture representation of how I crashed the Lambo at Blanchimont in the 24-hour. Like, it was almost the exact same. So the old mid-engine syndrome comes out once again here.
It does.
Out at Spa. And he has jumped to pits. I'm not sure if he called for the tow or not. So maybe questions will be asked of Mark if he has not called for that and he's just jumped straight to pits.
He's normally pretty good with requesting for pit for tows and whatnot. So I don't think I've been in a race or seen him race where he hasn't yet. But maybe he's just had a brain fade if he hasn't. Quite
possibly. Now on board here with James Glasspool as he tries to get around Scotty Hasler once again and back up into P2 on the outside line into the final chicane, but Hasler's going to have the run up onto the start-finish line straight, and they will have at it once again. If Glasspool can maximise the run here through the first corner, he might be able to get up on the back of him up through Eau Rouge Radion and onto the Kemmel straight. He can get the move done down at what is effectively turn 5 of the next chicane.
Yeah, definitely. It's if you get Eau Rouge right, you are loving life. It just sets up your whole lap. Yeah, turn 1 coming up through here. If you get it right, your lap is set.
Well,
as long as you carry that speed through the next couple of corners and momentum, your lap's set. Yeah, it's when you get that first sector wrong, or slightly wrongs, when you're in trouble for the remainder of the lap.
Yeah, it almost kind of, it's your first test around this track. You know, if you don't get the bottom of the hill right, where Eau Rouge is, it ruins the run up through Radion, which then ruins the run down the Kemmel Straight, which can then kind of ruin your mentality across kind of the outer edges of this circuit, we'll call it. You know, out through what is the track looks like a handgun, right? With a with a shoulder blocker on it. Kind of ruins your run all the way through the shoulder blocker and then up through the handle. It's just such a... This track is all about rhythm, and if you can keep your head clear and keep your rhythm in check, then you're going to have a good time. But if you kind of wreck it and just let yourself get broken, again, as you mentioned, it could ruin the whole run around the lap, because it ruins that rhythm, doesn't it? And you lose yourself across the lap, being that it is a 2-minute 6.9k lap.
Yeah, definitely. If you run that little bit too wide or too tight through turn 1, or you don't, even if you don't get a good exit out of the last corner chicane, you can drop up to almost 0.8 of a second going up the hill. So that's a huge chunk of time that, if you don't get that perfect exit coming onto the straight. Oh, looks like Delaney's had a bit of a moment there.
I reckon he's just carried a little bit too much speed through the first corner here in the chicane. Down the final couple. Yeah, he has just looped it around. Very easy to do, especially in a GTP.
Easy to do there at that spot.
But
it's notorious.
I guess, like, if you... Oh, Delaney's a good example. If you ruin your run through the final corner, it doesn't necessarily ruin your mentality across the lap. Turn 1, if you run it a bit wide, you're still okay. But again, if you don't get this corner lined up properly, or that set of corners that are really out of you, then mentally you can already be gone. That's the challenge of this circuit. It's not like Nürburgring where you can get lost. You know where you are around here, and that's why it is so mentally challenging, because you know where you are, you know what you should be doing. But to make a mistake through there is almost heartbreaking when you want to try and catch up to your competitors or try and stay consistent.
Yeah, definitely. It's yeah, like I said, like I've made up and dropped up to 0.8 of a second going through a Rouge and Radion. So trying to keep that and get those lines perfect through there, then you're definitely going to gain time. It's a win or lose spot of the track.
And again, it's one of those corners that is it's a crown jewel corner, we'll call it. And I use that terminology a lot for tracks, but you think about Eau Rouge and Radion in the same space that you think of Skyline, or you think of kind of even the swimming pool section, or the really tight corner out at Monaco, even the parabolic around at Monza as well. It's just one of those corners that is a make or break kind of corner. When you're on it, you feel like Superman, but when you're off it, you feel like you're, dead in a ditch and just struggling. So it's quite interesting. We'll sit on James here. We'll see how he goes up the run through the hill, just to give you guys a bit of an aspect on the speed that can be run through here. So I'll see if I can find the right camera. That's the one right there. Camera in the dash of the Porsche. This comes up through the hill again. You want to try and get this as tight as possible. Can cut that curb as he does, and that's what you want. You want to try and hit those curbs up through the run.
100%.
Again, it straight lines it, and it's so much steeper than people realise. Like, it is such a steep hill.
It is.
and again, just being able to straight line it, carry the speed, helps keep that run through the Kemmel Straight. These corners here, they seem simple, and when you know them, you run the same line pretty much every single lap. This corner's very deceiving. You can lose it very easily under brakes, run a little bit too mid kind of on the racing line, and then you can loop it very easily.
You'll be very patient on the throttle through here.
Oh, exactly. It is it's a patience-driven area. This corner, again, quite deceiving. It's almost like a triple apex. You want to kind of hit the inside, run it out wide again, and hit the inside to set triple. It's more like a double, but it is almost like a much faster paced southern loop through there. It is very easy to lose it through there too. Seen a couple of instances through this corner prior where drivers go for the dive down the inside of that first little right, try and then line it up on the left, and all of a sudden they're in the wall because there's a car there. So need to be very, very cautious around some of these sections. And up down towards the dreaded Blanchimont we come. And again, it's just like knowing how much pace you can run through this left is incredibly crucial to keeping that mentality about you. Once you know how much pace you can run through here, you do lap after lap. But again, across the 24-hour period, you can easily make same mistakes over and over again through there because your brain starts to fade. And you just get ahead of yourself a little bit. So that there is a lap of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit as Ben Faulkner has now come in the lane. And I believe he's actually done a pit stop. So Faulkner's done a stop. Does not appear that he's actually copped a penalty for that incident with Ryan Jones. Jones is out of proceedings at the moment. Been in the pits for the last 3.5 minutes, so I'd say the pit run's over.
Quite a while. Yeah, he's been there for quite a while. Seen a lot of the GTD guys have done their pit stops while we were riding on board for that lap as well. So most of those guys would have gotten a splash of fuel to continue on to the rest of the race.
Well, we are now past the halfway point of this race. GTD's yet to pit in this one. Greg Johnston, P3 on the road. He will drop back after the stop. Benjamin Brook in P2. He still needs to stop, as well as the leader, Andrew Dyson. Although we would predict that he should still remain P1 after his pit stop, as he's coming up on Harry Dodds, who is lap traffic at this stage. And indeed, actually, no, Harry also needs another stop because he came in on lap 1, so he actually needs a stop to get home. GTPs, though, yet to come in, as the leader, Brandon Grotch, now all over the back of Ben Faulkner. So both championship leaders on track at the same time. One passes the other. And they are our champion elects for GTP and GTD, Brandon Grotch and Ben Faulkner at this stage.
Yeah, good respect shown there by both drivers to be patient and give the room that's required to get through there safely.
So, Steph, if you were to attempt this series, what car of choice do you reckon you would choose? Because I would assume you'd want to attempt it in a GTD. Pathway of sports cars.
Yeah.
Which GTD car do you think you would choose to attempt this?
I've only ever really driven the Ferrari and the AMG. Now, AMG's good around tracks such as this and Le Mans. The Ferrari's fairly agile. Haven't driven the others as yet to give a sort of comparison. I know the Ferrari, I know how it drives. I probably would go more the Ferrari out of the two, because we do tend to use that a bit more in our Giros. So I would probably lean towards the Ferrari if I was to jump in the GTD category. If I was to jump up to the GTP, I'd jump into the Caddy.
The good old V8 Cadillac.
That's the one.
The one of 2 GTP cars I own. The other one I own, the BMW. I bought it when it came out. And then I bought the Caddy when it came out, and then they brought out both Porsche and the Acura together, and I'm like, I can't really buy both of them at this stage. I wasn't driving at that point, so I'm like, oh well. I've got the other 2. I only need one of them to broadcast, although I only need one car out of the whole lot, including the GTDs, to broadcast it, but it's okay. I mean, no matter how much I love the BMW, it is not competitive at the moment either.
No.
So I wouldn't necessarily even choose the BMW at this point. It's not that competitive, thanks to BOP. know, in its
look,
heyday, it was the best car on track.
Exactly right.
But unfortunately,
everyone wanted to be. Everyone wanted to be in the Beamer.
Yeah.
And then it all changed, and then everyone wanted to, you know, the new Ferrari come out, and everyone wanted to be in the new Ferrari, and the Porsche come out, and everyone wanted to be in the new Porsche. Goes in waves, but then yeah, like I said, the BOPs come out, and it sort of then dictates as to which car you go for. It changes it up quite a bit.
Well, it is nice though that the Lambo, for example, is competitive once again, being that
Definitely.
it is the oldest car now in the run of GTD cars that have rain. It's the oldest car out of that lot, next to the BMW. So it's the oldest form of car, but it is now competitive thanks to BOP, which is nice. It's nice that it is competitive again. Would love to see more Lambos out there. I wouldn't mind seeing a BMW, of course. If they could have it perfect, so all of them were as competitive as each other, then obviously we'd probably see more personal choice of, well, what car suits you best, or what car do you just like, and might give us a little bit more of an even spread. Obviously, real life, it's down to, well, who pays the bills. That then determines what car is on track.
Exactly.
And if sim racing were like that, then that would be cool. But we don't develop our own cars other than setups.
Thank
setups,
goodness.
I should say. Imagine. I know we're joking. I was joking about it as well. I'm joking about it a lot. Imagine if you actually had to pay your repair bills for your sim. Like,
I would cry.
I would have been
I would
bankrupt
be out of
about
business.
5 times, like, or even
I'd be out
more
of
so.
business.
It would just be cool. Dyson still leads the way for the GTDs. He is yet to come into the pit lane. The leader of the GTP class has come in. That was Brandon Grotch. James Glasspool now leads the way, but he does need his pit stop as we come up on the half-an-hour mark of 45 minutes in this race. No safety cars just yet. Just quietly, I don't think we're going to get one at this stage in time. The field just a little bit too spread out as Mr. Glasspool comes into the lane for his stop, and he will likely lose the lead now to Mr. Brandon Grotch, who is P2, and once again coming past the leader of the GTD Championship. So twice in a matter of a couple of laps they were on track together, which is nice to see.
Definitely, it's good to see that, you know, all these guys here are so respectful, you know, and giving each other the room and not destroying each other's championships. That's good to see. I must say, the pit entrance here at Spa, I have had a pretty shady experience coming in, where I have actually spun and got myself wedged between the walls. So it's good to see that hasn't happened tonight.
Was that in a league race or was that in an official?
Thankfully, I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, it was in a league race.
Okay.
Which was not fun because no one. It was at the point where everyone needed to do pit stops, and no one could get in.
Well, I was going to say,
I was blocking it.
If you reckon in a league race or an official setting, you would get chirped more by the drivers for doing that.
Look, when I did it, it was all a bit of fun. Did it in the Apex Esports League. So, yeah, we all just have a bit of banter about it, and yeah, because we all mainly in the one Discord chat. So we all had a bit of a laugh about it, and I got pretty beat up. About it because everyone needed to pit, and I was trying to not tow. I was trying to just sort of get myself out of the wedge, but yeah, didn't go down very well. So it's good to see that it hasn't happened tonight.
There's a nice little cheeky plug there as well for your own league. I saw that. I picked up on that one.
No, well, that's where it happens. So you know, it's yeah. Look, I'm glad that hasn't happened tonight because it's quite embarrassing. It's yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Not good. It is funny. Definitely is. Especially when everyone's trying to get into pits and you've blocked it, and they can't get around you because you're horizontal. And your rear's touching the wall and your front end's touching the wall.
I remember a Vets race last year at Belle Isle, where that happened. And instead of flick spinning it, someone tried to do the old Austin Powers 1,000,000-point turn.
Yes, yep.
And
that's
then
what I was
someone's
trying to do.
come in the pits and just absolutely collected them and ended up parking, putting their car into the air, and then it parked in kind of the little gap between both the concrete barriers at the pit entry. So they were technically not in the track, but there's no shadow run over there, so they were just kind of hanging out and like, well, I have to tow now.
Oh, no, that's it. No, I tried to do that, and I put my senses and decided to hit the tow button. But that was back in the good old days on the PlayStation. I made the jump over to iRacing, luckily, but from memory.
It wasn't even an iRacing race.
It wasn't an iRacing, no. It was back when I first started the good old Project Cars 2 on the PS4. Before I made the jump over, but yeah, it wasn't, not my finest moment. It's a good bit of fun, but that was good. That's all right. They all had a good laugh. Everyone thought it was hilarious, and made the night more interesting.
Well, I'm glad that you all got a laugh out of it, and I'm glad that you all decided that, you know what, it's actually just a bit of, a bit of fun at the end of the day.
Luckily.
That's what league racing is, you know. It's a bit of fun at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We're going to start up a poll here in the chat, because I realise I actually have the ability to do this, and we have got about 10 minutes to the end. So anyone watching, you guys can answer this poll if you want to.
Is it going to be about pineapple on pizza?
No, it's not. I was surprised that Jack was not asking that question in the chat, actually.
I don't think I've seen him in the chat yet.
He's been in the chat, but he hasn't asked that question.
Gotcha.
So the question is,
there he is.
what track do you want in the calendar next season? Now, obviously, we run online with the officials, and I don't know if the officials have been released yet for Season 3 of iRacing, because we will have a bit of overlap. But, you know, if you had the power, if you had the ability to put a track in the officials that would then line up with this series, what track would you want to have? Just based on Chicago.
Oh, yes.
I love a bit of chaos. I was hoping that it would go into the SF24s for next season. Unfortunately not. They went a different way about it for the Shadow. Seeing as we also, for the 86s get Chicago, because it is an American road trip season.
Yes.
It's all American tracks for the 86s, so they get Chicago, lucky for them. But I thought the SF24s, that would have been really nice around that track.
Definitely.
It would have been chaos, but a beautiful chaos as well.
Yeah, most definitely. I think, I think I'd like to have Circuit of the Americas. I like Circuit of the Americas. It's good fun.
Oh, Brandon Gosh has lost it!
Oof. Oh no.
What? How did that happen? So he's come through. I was just looking at it and I saw him go exit stage left. He's come round. Oh my god, he tried to catch it.
He's had a slide and...
Well, luckily for him, although he probably will be carrying a little bit of damage, and it is only 10 minutes to the end, or under 10 minutes to the end. Again, he's already won the championship at this point, so it's not so bad, but it has lost him the lead of this race and the possibility of another win.
That's unfortunate.
And he's into the lane now as well, so he may actually finish towards the back of the GTPs. It's making Patrick Frame an opportunity to actually get onto the podium here tonight, like you can see. But now it's James Glasspool who leads the way with around about 8 minutes till the 7 minutes nearly to the end of this race.
That's definitely mixed that up a little bit.
And that is Mark Cochran parked up on the exit of Blanchimont. He was across the track, so he's had another issue through here. Pushed it a little bit too hard.
Yeah. Oh, that's heavy into the wall too.
That is heavy into the wall. Josh Houghton as well also dropped some spots. Why is he dropping spots? Oh, he's disconnected. I think he's dropped out. Yep, thank you for putting that out to us. I believe Josh Houghton has actually dropped out.
Manually. Looks like it's manually disconnected.
Because I don't have him told.
He hasn't had a
actually,
packet loss.
Now that I see this, he's gone off track.
No packet loss.
Well, that's an off track.
Bit wide.
So nothing that would explain why.
No.
He's necessarily left the session. And why he'd be out of the race.
Odd.
Is incredibly odd. He's got Patrick Frame coming around him up through towards the final corner.
That was fine. Up in there.
He's just pulled it in.
Pulled it in.
Maybe he had an
Maybe.
emergency, I don't know.
Yeah, possibly.
Maybe something's happened. Who knows?
Yeah.
Hopefully everything's all right. And hopefully it's nothing untoward. Hopefully it's
yeah.
for him.
Fingers crossed.
Hate to see it. Hate to see him
Like,
having to pull out. So, especially with only nearly 5 minutes to go as well. Like he had P2 wrapped up. Ben's obviously P2. He was going to win the championship regardless. So I doubt it was to let him on to P2 on the road.
I thought we've just lost Ty Delaney as well.
Yeah, Ty unfortunately had to tow back to pits. I'm not 100% sure why.
Yeah. Goodness.
So they're dropping like flies at the moment
They
here towards
are.
the end of this race. He had come into pits. He entered pit lane with Ty, and then he jumped to pits. So did he have an issue coming into the lane? Came in. I saw him in there as well. Got it slowed up.
Yeah. Just pulled up short.
Box.
He's pulled in. Okay. Then he's just vanished.
Weird. Very, very
yeah.
weird.
Okay. Tech issues tonight by the looks of it.
It appears that is the go at this stage in time.
Yes, a couple of those. That last update has caused some havoc with some people's techs. So yeah, it could just be something as simple as that. It's had some technical issues. Would like to hope that that's all that's happened. Nothing too serious has happened there.
Yeah, hopefully everything's all good for him. But 4 minutes to the end of this race and of season 1 of 2024. It is James Glasspool who leads the way to Scott Hasler in P2. Brandon Grotch out of P3. Patrick Frame is in P4 with Shane Newens in behind in P5 on the road at the moment. Ty Delaney, unfortunately for him, looks to be out of this race and will have to give in to just having P3 in this championship this season. Andrew Dyson leads the way for the GTD field. Ben Faulkner P2 again. He only had to finish the race though to win this championship, so he's still going on strong. Benjamin Brook could be on here for an impressive podium position here tonight for the Frog Leap Juice Racing, so they may end up getting 3 cars on the podium across both classes. Greg Johnson out of P4 in class, back to Harry Dodds, Mick Clifton, and then Mark Cochran as well. Mark came in here hoping to beat Mick, but after some mistakes, Mick's looking like he's actually going to beat him by 28 seconds.
He is, yes. Tables have turned there tonight. Interesting, definitely interesting. Mark's had some havoc. I wouldn't even think he'd even have a setup considering he wasn't racing tonight. He's just jumped in sort of blind. Yeah, interesting tonight.
It's just it seems that, I mean, end of the season, you know, obviously on a public holiday, maybe some drivers just taking a little bit easier than usual. Who knows? I know that Mark was out there hell for leather trying to get past Mick, but he's now fallen off the back of that little battle. So 2 minutes to the end of this race. When Glasspool crosses the line, Barney will be out and he should get the white flag when he starts this next lap. So it looks like it's only going to be a 22-lap affair here tonight for Spa-Francorchamps. Been a fantastic season. Big thank you, of course, goes out to our series sponsor, the title sponsor of this series, Warren & Brown Tools, as well as our other series sponsors and the title sponsor, Shannon's Insurance and Motorsport Australia, as well as the other more minor, not really minor sponsors because they give us support, but the non-title sponsors, NeuroPower, Shunt Scenery, DSL Rail Services and Grim Industries. Thank you for supporting, and if you haven't already, please remember to hit the like button, the subscribe button as well, and the bell icon. So you're notified anytime we go racing here on SRWtv. Only 2 races left in round number 9. Those being the Sunday night Warren & Brown Tools V8 Supercars Pro-Am, and then as well as the Monday night Motorsport Australia Formula V Nationals as well. So there's not long to go until season 1 of 2024 is done for us here. Last pool has crossed the line, 44 minutes into the 45. Not sure if I saw Barney out there with the white flag.
No.
See if we can catch someone crossing the line in the background. Frame's already gone past. We'll watch on here with Mr. Newlands. Oh no, he's too far around the lap. He's not quite close enough.
I don't.
Faulkner's not there. There's Dyson. Oh, Dyson's not too far away. He's coming up towards Blanchard, so we'll see if Dyso gets the white flag. If he gets the white flag, we know it's the last lap.
Definitely.
If he does not, then we've got one more lap to go.
Would be close, I would think. If it's not now.
Oh, if it's not this lap, it's next. But,
White flag.
oh, thank you, Tyson. It is white flag.
There we go.
Tyson's on the season, it is white flag. So James Glasspool is only a couple of corners away from taking victory here tonight. It was nice, Tyson, just to drop it and let us know that it was white flag.
Thanks, Tyson. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much. So Glasspool comes round and he will catch the checkered flag as he comes across the line for one final time. Checkers are up. 45 minutes is done here tonight out at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. We may not have had as many drivers out there as what we want, but it was still a good running here tonight from the ones who are going to finish. Glasspool crosses the line P1. Brooke has solidified himself on the podium coming across the line in behind him, so he'll get P3 in class. Scotty Hasler will come home in P2 for the GTPs. Benjamin Brooke is, Brennan Grotch is going to come home P3 for that class as well. So it'll be a triple Frog Leap Juiced Racing podium here tonight across both of the classes. And here he goes crossing the line. Here is Andrew Dyson, who looks to get another win in the GTD class, although he's not going to get him the win in the championship. That will go to this man here, Ben Faulkner of Vermilion Motorsports. He is just on a nice little parade lap at the moment until he gets to the line, but this is the man we're focused on, the race winner. If he can hold it together and get there with only a couple more corners to go as he comes out towards the final section of this circuit.
He's got that gap, 14, nearly 15-second gap. He should just be cruising home just to make sure he secures P1.
Yeah, I don't think he will necessarily be pushing at this stage. It'll just be get it home, get it done and dusted, and get a winner's trophy in your cabinet, solidify that P2 in the championship, and then reevaluate going into Season 2 next season. But Dyson comes around the final corner. He will take victory for the GTD class here for Simrings.com by DFR, or DPR I should say. Here tonight, Ben Faulkner, not too far behind him, comes around the final corner. He was strong all season. He was backed up by his teammates. And tonight he confirms it, comes home and wins the GTD Championship for Season 1 of 2024 here for Vermilion Motorsports. An exceptional run all season, an exceptional run here tonight. Made it fun for himself by starting out the back. And he will confirm himself a winner's trophy now that the season is done and dusted. It was Brooke P3 as mentioned, then Johnston to Dodds to Clifton to Cochran out, and Jones did not make the end of this race.
Yeah, it's a shame those guys didn't unfortunately make the end, but big congratulations to Faulkner there taking out the overall championship, and Dyson for the race win, and obviously Juice Leapfrog Racing's 1, 2, 3. It's great effort.
Well, technically it's a 2-3-3.
Oh, 2-3-3, yeah.
Ironically, Hasl's race number is 222, so it's
That's true.
not too far off that. But the celebrations now come for the overall championship leader and winner of the GTP class, Brandon Grotch. Here tonight, his challenges were not quite close enough. It was all but a formality to come home and take our victory. We'll wait for our podium finishers to get into the green room before we have a chat to them. Luckily, both of our champions finished on the podium, so it's just normal running for us, just 6 people instead of 8 if they had finished off the podium. So it makes our night a little bit easier as well. As mentioned, big thank you goes out to our race controllers, Thomas Freeman and Tyson McAvoy, been with us all season, giving us the support as he just packs it into the wall off the back of that burnout.
It's good to see the guys having some fun out there now.
Yeah.
It's all done and dusted.
Oh, that's it. And, it'll then go into reevaluation mode for next season, get prepped up and ready to go in 3 weeks' time when we come back on the 26th of April for round number 1 of 2024. Oh, for season 2 of 2024, I should say. Hopefully you'll be in the booth for the whole season, Steph.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
You're not allowed to have any weddings coming up. That's the rule now.
Look, as far as I'm aware, I don't have any.
In case someone just suddenly pops the question just out of nowhere. But if they do, you just got to say to them, we can't have it on a weekend. It's got to be early week.
That's right. They can't be on a Friday.
A Thursday, so you can race.
Thursday. Be Friday, Thursday, out of the question.
Any other day is fine.
That's it.
So, but we will get our podium finishers in once they're in the green room, of course. Hopefully, Mr. Brook is going to be joining us because that's who I've lined up first. I don't think he is, so we'll get in Daiso first, actually, since he's there. We'll drag him in and have a chat to him. Mr. Andrew Dyson, P1 on the road tonight, P2 in the championship. Early question for you. Do you reckon the lack of beard cost you this championship this season?
Lack of talent probably more than anything, man. I mean, it's talent, beard, same thing, right?
Well, I mean, maybe they are one in the same. Obviously, not as many drivers out there for us here tonight. Maybe should have predicted that Easter was going to fall at the last round of the season, but still though a good race. I think we had more drivers out there tonight than we even had at Nürburgring, so it was still good to see. First question, I guess, is how did you think this season was for you to get home P2, and then going into season 2 next season? What do you think maybe some changes in preparation might be to put a challenge into Mr. Faulkner if he comes back?
I don't think there's... Sorry, I forgot the first part of the question, but as far as next season goes, I don't think there's really anything I would change. I'll just sort of roll up and keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah, I mean, it's probably a little bit more fun to not, I mean, without sort of being rude about it, it's a little more fun to not put in too much prep. I think they can drain it a little bit after a while, especially when you're trying to put a whole season together. So just sort of roll up, and if you're on it on the night, then that's good. If you're not, then you just got to do the best you can.
No, I think that's a totally fair point or opinion to have.
Yeah.
I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. I think the first part of my question was how does I guess it feel to at least get that P2 in the championship and maybe kind of solidify yourself as one of the quote unquote faster drivers in this series?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, more so than P2 in a championship. It's good to come out and have some good races. Not all of them went according to plan. Last week was a bit of a disaster in the end, but to come out and have some good races is is a bit of good fun. I think back to like Motorsport was a fun one. What was another one? I think Hockenheim was pretty close with Ben as well, and there was a couple other good races I had. So it's that's what it's all about for me.
Well, I guess then, are you at least excited for next season?
Yeah, definitely. We're looking forward to it. It's we're just chatting sort of like towards the end of the race there, those last couple of laps, about how good it is to come out and have something to do on a Friday night as far as sim racing goes. There used to be an old supercar series that used to run on Friday nights, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Just jump in and get some practice in on the night, go out, have a race. There'd be enduro races, there'd be shorter races, sprint races. And that was really fun, and I missed that. So it's good to come in and have something that's a little bit different. Sort of mixed class racing, IMSA. I don't do a whole lot of it, so I enjoyed this sort of stuff, and the boys can come out and pick and choose which cars they want to drive, rather than it just being like a supercar, which is the same no matter what it is you're driving. Like you can choose from a Lambo or a Porsche or a Ferrari, or you got the Acura, the 962. So that's really cool, and it's yeah, like I said, just a lot of fun to come do something on a Friday night and just have a bit of a send, really.
So there are some talks and rumours that are maybe going to a bi-weekly series in future. What's your preference on that? Would you prefer it to be bi-weekly or have it every week, or do you not particularly care? Do you just like being able to get out there and race?
Probably not. Probably feel a little indifferent towards that, really. But I think the way I would look at it is, if I miss one round, then it kind of ends up being 3 weeks or so between races, which can be a bit kind of missing out. But
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I would prefer to just miss one race and then come out and still have like a race the weekend before, and another race to look forward to the week after I'm missing one. So, but I guess it's up to whatever you guys can do. Obviously, it's a bit of a load to do one every week, and all these other races that happen every other day. So, understandable.
Well, mate, thank you for your thoughts on that. Big congratulations, obviously, for a solid season and a solid run here tonight to get into P1. Let us know who helps get you and DPR out on track, as well as anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well.
Yeah, just quick shout to all the lads at DPR. But I think more than anybody, when it comes to these series that happen and get together, it's all the manpower behind organising it all, such as yourself and all the rest of the crew behind Sim Racing World and all the sponsors. So big shout out to all those guys, and thanks a lot for putting it all together. We really appreciate it.
No worries, mate. Congratulations on a solid season. Best of luck in Season 2. Congratulations for the win here tonight once again, and thanks for coming over to chat to us.
Thanks, man. See you, boys.
Thanks, mate.
Catch up.
Apparently you're a boy now, Steph.
Ah, that's all right. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
we have got
I get called all different things. It's fine.
Unfortunately, Mr. Faulkner's going to have to sweat it out for a bit, because that's what we do with the champions. They wait till last. So him and Grotchi are going to have a good old chance to have a chat. We'll drag in Mr. Brook first off. Benjamin Brook, mate. Cometh the man, cometh the hour. Get it onto the podium, and well, what a nice way to end your season, and kind of maybe get off onto a strong run into Season 2.
Yeah, I'm really, really happy about that. Yeah, just sort of come from nowhere, basically, just cruising along, and next minute P3. So yeah, hopefully the last couple of races we've had, still not as fast as the front running guys, but yeah, midfield's not too bad, and hopefully some more cars next season and have some more racing.
Well, will you be kind of hoping that next season will at least allow you to obviously get out on track more often, but also maybe find a little bit more pace out of the car? And do you think maybe in between seasons you might do some testing of other car types just to see which one may actually suit you best in the GTD class?
Yeah, I'm really liking the Fez. At Sebring and here, it's really suited the car. So I didn't have a whole lot of practice for this one. Sebring, I got a lot of practicing as I was practicing for the 12-hour and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, we've got a few weeks obviously to the next start of the next season, and we'll kick on from there.
Now, obviously, Brendan and Scott have gotten top 2 in the GTP class. Unfortunately, Brandon's going to have to sweat it out a little bit because he's the champion. We make him go last. But I guess, how is it being able to race with those guys? Obviously, they're pretty strong in that class, but of course, you've also got the likes of Harry out on track, and previously you had Sean and even Jono out there with you as well. Hopefully you might be able to get a couple more tadpoles out in the pond for next season, just to help you run around and again improve a little bit in this car in future.
Yeah, it's fantastic having Scotty and Brandon obviously in the GTPs flying along. And Harry has been fantastic in this series. It's just a carrot to chase because he is quite fast and consistent. So so hopefully we get a couple of more frogs for next season, and we'll take it from there.
Well, will we see the long-awaited return of the American?
Well, he seems to kick on into the stream a fair bit, doesn't he? So all he needs to do is just jump in a car.
Yeah, it's not like he's not available. We know he's here week in and week out. All he's got to do is come and have a drive.
Yeah, he just needs to get in the car and off he goes. So hopefully he does. I'm not sure what his plans are, but a few more of us running would be great.
Oh, Harry's not sure about the consistency apparently. So. Oh, mate, congratulations on P3 here tonight. Let us know who helps get you and Frog Leap out on track, and anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well.
Cheers, boys. Thanks a lot for you guys for putting it on. Juiced Energy, Simrigs, Racecraft, Sud Speed Gloves, and the Pet Door Company.
Just to confirm, Stephanie is not a boy. We said it before after Dyson left as well. Apparently Steph's a boy now, but...
Sorry about
that. It is what it is.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It's all right. To be fair, Steph is the only female commentator on SRW, so 9 times out of 10, you are likely going to get 2 dudes.
She's the most important one, so there you go.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
No, look, I don't blame you guys. I have missed a bit. Yeah, I've had other stand-ins, so it's all good. It's all good.
It is.
Oh, mate, thanks heaps for joining us, and best of luck in season 2.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.
Oh, I will call them out every time now because it's too
that's
funny.
Right. That's gold.
We'll drag in our P3 for the GTP class, or P2 actually. Mr. Scotty Hasler. Scotty, P2 in the championship, mate, obviously. A strong run for both yourself and Brandon. It was also P2 on the road out there tonight. Let us know how it feels to now solidify that 1-2 finish in the championship, obviously, but also follow it up with a double podium once again.
Yeah, no, it's pretty rare that you get a chance to do a 1-2 in over a season. A lot of things could go wrong, so I think it's the first time for me. It's been an awesome season. Really enjoyed riding with Brandon. We've had great fun. Didn't quite get to top it off with the win today, but James was rapid. Like, he had a drive through and he still managed to win. So and by a margin too. So I don't think we're ever quite gonna grab that one. But getting the double podium again is awesome too.
Does that scare you going into next season if he's out on track every week?
Look, I think definitely our car didn't suit us today. The Acura, I think, and possibly the setup we had, it was from a few seasons ago. So I don't think we quite had our car optimized, but definitely, he was rapid. So he'll be one to watch for next season.
So, mate, I guess one sort of final thing I would like to ask, if you'd be willing to touch on, is we're contemplating going to a bi-weekly series next season for this championship. What's kind of your opinion on that? Would you prefer it to stay at once a week, or would you prefer it to go to that bi-weekly format?
Look, it probably doesn't faze me too much. It is sometimes a little difficult when I've got other things that happen on a Friday night, and you have to decide whether I want to race or go and hang out with my real world mates and all that kind of thing. So bi-weekly could be nice in that sense, but I've got to say, I think personally I preferred when we were running like as a proper Shadow Series where we were copying the officials, because I run quite a few of those, and it was nice to be able to essentially be practicing all week and running races, and then and then jump in and sort of give it your best go and have current sets and all that kind of thing. Yeah, look, it probably doesn't phase me too much. So yeah, see what happens next season.
To be honest, I thought we still were following the officials. I didn't realise that we weren't necessarily following the officials week in and week out.
We are, but there's a bit. I think it's maybe 6 or 7 weeks off. So I think the previous season we did it the week that that the officials were there, whereas now it's there's a bit of a bit offset.
Yeah, obviously apart from Sebring, which was actually the week
yes,
off,
it actually,
which was good.
yes, it was.
Yeah. Oh well. Hopefully, we can put that feedback forward and evaluate what's going to happen going into season 2. Let us know, mate. Who obviously Benjamin already rattled off the sponsors, so I'll leave it up to you if you want to do it for the GTPs or if you want to leave that up to Brandon when we bring him in for his little championship UHA. But let us know, mate, anyone who's giving you the support out there, and if you don't want to leave it up to Brandon, let us know who's helping get you and Frog Leap out on track.
Yeah, I'll let Brandon do the sponsors, but just big shout out to everyone at SRW, Race Control, and just all the guys that have made it a great season. I think today was probably the best racing I've had all season. So it's always good fun. So yeah, shout out to everyone involved, and you guys, of course. Thanks for commentating and keeping us on the air.
He's a bit better than his teammate. He didn't call you a boy, Steph. Guy is at
10
least
points.
more trans.
More universal.
Yeah, transgender. Well, no, that sounds wrong. Transgender is not the right word for that one. But thanks for remembering, Scott, that Steph is not a boy, unlike Ben and Daiso as well. All right, mate. Thanks so much for coming over to chat to us. Congratulations on your season and your night out there. Best of luck going into season 2 as well, and we'll see if you can maybe pip Brandon for that championship next time out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, thanks very much.
No worries. Thanks, mate. I love it. Gotta love just making them all get red if they make the mistake.
They get so uncomfortable.
Oh, they do. They do. You can tell from the silence behind what we're saying that they feel awkward. Someone who wasn't awkward out there here tonight, though, was James Glasspool. James, where have you been all season? Because Brandon could have used a challenger like you for about the last 8 rounds.
I've been away working up in Brisbane for the last. I've sort of been in and away for the last kind of month or so, so I missed a lot of the rounds. But yeah, now I'm kind of back, and I'll do as many as I can going forward for next season, and I'll have a bit of a crack at the championship. Try and be a bit more consistent with it. Yeah.
So is that you saying that you're all in for season 2?
Yeah, I will be as much as I can, put it that way. So I'll try and I think we get 1 drop round. Is that right? I think we get 1 drop round. So I should, hopefully all going well, I should be able to have a crack at all of that, and try and put a whole season together.
Well, we can only hope so. Not that we don't love seeing Brandon dominate, but it's just nice when you get to call racing where the championship literally goes down to the final race. And just by what you did tonight, not only in qualifying but in the race, like you still won even with a drive-through. Maybe it's on for young and old for season 2, but I guess how did it feel coming back into the series? Obviously out in the Porsche tonight at Spa. How was this sort of track car combination for you, but also just getting back to grips with racing with these bunch of guys out there?
So I think I actually raced Scotty and Brandon last week in Sebring 12 hour. And I think I bumped into him at Bathurst 12 hour as well. So I've sort of raced him in some officials and obviously in here as well. But yeah, the car felt really nice. Like Spa's a pretty easy track to kind of hop in and drive most cars for me. So I can get to a pretty baseline kind of pace, and then to go the next step is why I'm not any faster than what I am. But it was just nice to go out there, and as Daiso, as we're chatting, like it was we're just it's nice to hop in on a Friday night and do a bit of racing, and just nice to kind of unwind from the weekend that way. Yeah.
So, Steph, do you have any questions you'd like to ask James after his very impressive win here tonight? Maybe she stepped away. Oh, no. Okay, no, you
No,
are there.
I'm here. No, I'm here. Yeah, it was an impressive drive tonight. So that drive through potentially for a jump start, was it?
Yeah, so it's been a few weeks, and I don't think I've put it on poll here before, but it was a brain fade on my part completely for jumping the start. I just hopped in and just went full gas before the green, and then as soon as I did it, I went, oh yeah, it's meant to be before green. So I pushed as hard as I could in the clean air to try and get as much gap as I could build up, and then just really made sure that I both of my pit stops I did. I made sure the in laps were really good and the pit stops were good as well. And then just was chasing Brandon down as hard as I could towards the end. And I think he was just saying that his car wasn't fantastic tonight, which is probably part of the reason why he put it in the fence. But I was just pushing as hard as I could, and I knew that if I could get to the back of him, I'd be able to have a crack and see if I could pass him with the few laps that we had to go, I think, at that point.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely a great recovery there. After that one, if you're not used to being at the front, it is definitely easy to jump the start and get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, I was rinsing someone else in another league for not reading the rule book, and I read the rule book, but I needed to reread it before I went out there. So that's completely on me. So I'll take that punishment.
That's all right. No, great recovery after that though. It was really good to watch. Was great. So who's give a shout out to the guys that can help you get on track every week?
Oh yeah, so just thanks to all the DPR boys. Like, it's good to hang out with those guys, and nice just having a good bunch of dudes to race pixelated cars with. Thanks to Simrigs, Southwell Lifts and Hoist, Ben Max Mechanical, and Neil Pearson Designs as well for supporting the team. Just a shout out to you guys as well for commentating and doing the broadcast. Also Race Control and SRW, everyone who helps run that together, because I used to run a league of my own, so I know how many hours it goes into it, but that was one race every couple of weeks. I don't know how you guys do 5 races a week. Full credit to all of you guys for making this league go and run as well as it does.
Just to give Steve even more credit, it's 6 races a week.
6 races, there we go. I knew it was most nights. I couldn't remember if it was the weekend as well, but yeah. No, full credit to you guys for doing that. It's awesome.
Nah, that's all good, mate. Well, thanks for coming and have a chat to us here tonight. Big congratulations once again on the win. Best of luck next season. Hopefully we can see you out there for the majority of next season and really bring that fight to those froggies. I guess take the win with you. Use it as fuel to know that you can someone can beat Brandon Grotch out on track that's not his teammate.
Definitely.
And hopefully, again, we can see you have a strong run going forward into season 2.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for that, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, mate. All right, we will drag in Mr. Faulkner, our GTD champion, in just a moment's notice here. We'll drag him in. Mr. Faulkner, we thought we'd let you sweat it out for a little bit in your Vermilion seat. Congratulations on not only a nice drive out there tonight. We saw you not qualifying. We're like, oh, he's definitely just out there for some fun. He's going to start from the back. It worked out for you, mate. You ended up getting up onto the podium, solidifying the championship. Obviously, you only had to start the race to pretty much confirm it with such a small grid here tonight. But at the end of the day, you had to have a strong run throughout the whole season. And, just to top it off with a podium, it must feel pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I decided to sort of close my eyes and pick a random car, and sort of Lambo and Ferrari were the 2 choices, and went with the Lambo, so brought out a different car, and I actually went out for qualifying, and then I got told that I had a rear of grid penalty from last round, apparently. because I had to get my teammate to push me around because I didn't have enough fuel. 'Cause I completely
Yeah.
forgot about the in-lap. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that now. Oh well, I suppose then you
That
were
explains it.
forced to having a fun night ahead of having to battle through the field then.
Yeah, and I got a few 4Xs from some stuff that happened in front of me a few times, and then I had like 16X for like the last 25 minutes of the race, which is a bit terrifying. But yeah, overall it's a good season. I enjoyed myself, and yeah, looking forward to the next ones.
Well, I mean, it was obviously such a strong run for you this season. You had Lewis as your kind of wingman for the majority of the period. Can you give us any insight as to why Josh had to pull out tonight? Because we saw him pull into the pits and then he just didn't get it back out on track. And we didn't know if maybe something had happened or maybe he was dealing with something. Is there any insight you can give us into that?
Yeah, we were in the voice channel together, and he just had to head off. So he knew he wasn't going to be able to make it all, but he just wanted to go as far as he could go and see how he went. So yeah, he was pretty quick out there, and first time in the Mercedes, and especially at this track as well. So yeah, he did really well.
Very good. Well, we're glad it wasn't something untoward, which we did say on the broadcast as well. So hopefully he can have a strong run alongside, I would assume, Lewis and yourself next season, if Lewis is coming back and if you're coming back as well. But obviously, how does it feel now to finally confirm that you've got this championship win? And you get to go into next season as the defending champion if you do race, and try and go back to back.
Yeah, good. It's a pretty long season. I've had a lot on. I run obviously my team and then a league as well, and I start uni in a month or two. So I've got a lot going on. But it might take up some of my time that I had extra. But yeah, if I'm available, I'll definitely jump in. Whether it's for IMSA again or something else, not sure. Just depends on what days I'm available. But yeah, like I said, it was a good season. Enjoyed it. A few ups and downs, but overall got there in the end. And yeah, ended it with a decent lead too, which is good.
So well, just quickly then before we let you head off, off the back of that, there are conversations happening in the background to maybe make this a bi-weekly series going forward. Would that then benefit you more with a bit more of a tighter schedule, or do you think it wouldn't really make much difference going forward?
It probably wouldn't make much difference to me.
Yeah.
But from someone who runs like leagues as well, it's probably people often forget when it's too long between rounds. So it could be.
And I did mention that as someone who ran a once a month series, and people would eventually just forget. But no, and on that, I mean, again, it's just us trying to get feedback. We'll likely put a feedback thing out there, just be like, oh, hey, we're thinking about doing these sorts of things. Can you let us know your thoughts? And just so everything can be solidified before next season obviously goes ahead. But yeah, I mean, massive congratulations, mate. It was a absolutely dominant performance this season. Hopefully next season, nothing against you, but hopefully we can get maybe some more challenges out there against you just to spice it up a little bit for us here in the comms box. Maybe even spice it up for you on track just to give you some more battles outside of your own team. But let us know who's giving you and Vermilion Motorsports the support out there, and anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well.
Yeah, so of course we've got all the boys at Vermilion Motorsports, Berlin Motor Group, Dr. Epoxy, Race Lab Overlays, Burb Designs, Whitey's Pies, Supernova Motorsports, Moser Racing, Hymo Setups, and we just signed Jack Doohan and a couple other boys onto the team. Doing Okay is now one of our main sponsors for our pro team. So massive thanks to him. And yeah, one more thing, just up the Warriors, go the Warriors.
Very good, mate. Well, best of luck next season if you're able to get out there on track. And if not, best of luck in whatever racing you might be getting into for in the future as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. All right, we will now move on to our GTP and overall champion, Mr. Brandon Grotch. Mr. Grotch, we let you sweat it out a little bit on your own for the last couple of minutes. Mate, what a run this season for you. Obviously, you just had to start the race to solidify the championship here tonight. But how does it feel to finally get to the end, confirm that title win, and then be able to put the focus on Season 2 going forward?
It's really wonderful, actually. Quite a lot of my season, like other championships I've done in previous years, I've always had one or two things just not go my way and destroy any championship hopes. But it's nice to see this one and actually get it over Scott this time.
Well, we said to him before, we're like, well, hopefully next season maybe you can get one up on Brandon, but it seems like that you don't want that to happen anytime soon. You want to try and be the winner from now on.
Oh, well, most certainly. I won't use this lightly, but I kind of dominated him in qualifying. I've just got to work on the race a bit more. So once I work on that, I feel like it's going to be tough for him to beat me.
I suppose
a case of if you're not first, you're last.
Oh yeah.
By the sounds.
Well, but don't. It's that same old quote that gets used every day almost. Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
It sounds like Scott's name is about to become Scott Norton Jr. and you're about to become Brandon Bobby going forward. But speaking of that, actually, what about James Glasspool, who is looking to be more consistent in the series next season? He could be the Jean Girard to your Ricky Bobby going forward, based off the pace that he showed out there tonight.
It's very possible. He was very quick here at Spa. Wasn't a track that suited the Acura, but I still think next season James is going to give us a run for our money.
I was about to say that sounds like an excuse that this suit did not track the.
Trust me,
I got the car.
I got a lot of excuses for this round, but I'll spare them.
Well, excuses aside, to be able to come home not only on the podium, but also to solidify that championship win. We know how much it means to you, mate. And hopefully next season you can either back it up or at least get very, very close in the process as well. It was a very, very great run from you this season. Really fun to watch, really fun to call as well. And when you had your little moment tonight, I had a little bit of a spark. I'm like, oh my god, Brandon's crashed it. Is it like, a perfect season? And then even though he's going to win the title, is that how it's going to end? But no, you managed to keep it out there and come home nice and clean, and not only end the season on a clean run, but that's then also going to help you jumpstart your next season on a clean run too. But yeah, it's been a mega effort, and it's been fantastic to see it unfold. Let us know who is helping get you and Frog Leap Juice Racing out on track. I did ask Scott if he wanted to do the sponsors, but he said he was going to leave it up to you, even though Ben already did it. But someone's got to do it for the GTP class out of you and Scott. And unfortunately, the rule lies with you at this stage as well. But anyone else you want to get a shout out to as well?
He did warn me that I've got to do the sponsors.
Yeah.
So I was a bit annoyed. I had to stop my footy watching to go and find them.
Hey, I had to stop watching the footy to do the broadcast, so that's what happens.
But no, I'd like to say a big thank you to all the other guys at Frog Leap for their continued support. It's wonderful to have. Hopefully we're getting a few more of them next season in. I'm trying my hardest to get one of our other GTP drivers into the series, but he's a Kiwi and he doesn't like late races. But we'll see how we go with that.
Oh, it starts at 10:30. It's not that late for him.
I don't know what it's with him. He'll stay up till 2 a.m, but races after 10 doesn't seem to be his cake.
Sounds like an excuse.
It does.
But also to all our sponsors of Frog Leap Juice Racing, Juiced Energy, being the main sponsor, of course. Love those guys. Hopefully they're bringing out some new products soon, because I'm itching to try some more. Simrigs.com, Racecraft, Sudspeed Gloves, who I found out are also bringing out new gloves soon too, and the Pet Door Company. It's been a wonderful season. Hopefully next year will be just as good. And yeah, looking forward to it.
So, if Juice is getting out more flavors, are there some tasters and some testing kits going to come over to the broadcasters?
Look, I don't know if I got that kind of power.
Surely someone at your team does.
I don't know. I might have to talk to Boss Man.
I know that Mark's a fan of mine. I know Dodsy loves a bit of a yarn. And then, you and Scotty are chatting to me, more often than my ex-girlfriend did at one point. So I feel like we've earned it at this stage.
Yeah, I might have to give him a chat. See if I remember that tomorrow.
Well, regardless, mate, it's been a fantastic season for you. Congratulations. I hope you enjoy being able to celebrate it over this long weekend ahead. Thanks for coming to have a chat to us once again here tonight as well, and best of luck into Season 2.
Thank you. Thank you to all of SRW. Thank you to the race control and all of the commentators over the season. Been wonderful. I enjoy watching back the broadcast after the race, actually. Always very nice.
Very good,
Thank
mate.
you for
Well,
putting on a show.
hopefully you'll enjoy mine and Steph's blabble that we went through tonight. So we had a nice little yarn whilst you were cutting laps, so it was good. But thanks for joining us once again, mate. And best of luck in whatever you might be racing in the season break. And then hopefully we can see you have another strong run next season.
Let's hope so.
Thanks a lot, mate. See you later.
Bye.
Sure.
Well, great to talk to all of our podium finishers and our champions here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the champions of GTD going to Ben Faulkner, and the championship of GTP going to Brandon Grotch. Big thank you as well goes out to all of our series sponsors once again, including our title sponsors, Warren & Brown Tool, Shannon's Insurance and Motorsport Australia, as well as our series sponsors, DSL Rail Services, Grim Industries, Shunt Scenery, and NeuroPower. Thank you guys as well for bringing us into your home or wherever you've been watching from this season and giving up your time. It's been absolutely fantastic, and we so appreciate it. No matter what series you've been watching here on SRW, whether it's the Supercars on Tuesdays and Sundays, whether it's the Formula 3s on Wednesdays, the 8.6s on Thursdays, IMSA here with us on Friday, or even the Formula Vs on Monday as well. There'll be news coming out in the next 3 weeks of how the series are going to line up into Season 2. If you guys have got any feedback for us, then either chuck us a message on our Facebook page, Sim Racing World, or get into the Discord if you're in the Discord as well and send us a message, or we'll try and get a feedback channel sorted if we haven't got one already. And let us know of anything that you think maybe could be done better, and just so we got things that we can think about over this little break that we've got ahead. But this has been the Warren & Brown Tools IMSA Shadow Series. Season 1 of 2024 has been round number 9 out at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. I've been Hamish Munro. Alongside me has been Stephanie Piccoli. Stephanie, thank you for stepping in when you have this season. Hopefully next season we can get 9 rounds out of you.
Oh, hopefully it's nothing else pops up along the way. But thank you for having me on board this season.
Well, from myself, Hamish, and from Steph alongside, and everyone here at SRWtv, thank you so much for joining us. Be safe, be merry, have a wonderful long weekend ahead, and hopefully you guys can stay safe out there. But until next time, we'll see you Sunday night for the Warren & Brown Tools V8 Supercars Pro-Am. But until then, bye for now.
This is amazing. I was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to snip on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you what, Bruce Tanak and Jamie Dyke just absolutely drove away from us.